What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Tap. My name is Michael, and this is John, and we are here for a great show today. Very excited. John, how you doing?
I'm excited, man. It's we're getting to that draft time. It's Super Bowl's everyone's favorite time of the season, but for all you dedicated football fans, the draft time is everyone's favorite time of the year, where we get to get our hearts broken by our teams making terrible decisions that we have to live with for the next 3 to 4 years. So let's talk about the quarterbacks.
Let's do it. We have got the top five, our top five. Well, I'd say the consensus top five, pretty much. Rookie quarterbacks that we're going to talk about. Who we like, who we don't like, where we like them, and things like that. But first of all, we're just going to go down the list. It's not any specific order. At the end of it, John and I will rank the quarterbacks. The thing I'm excited about most about this episode is the full round mock draft, the first round mock draft.
Ooh.
That's going to be fun. We're going to alternate picks. But let's jump into the rookie quarterbacks, top five. John, here we go. Malik Willis, probably the most talked about, highest rated, I would say. He threw that. He had the one Zach Wilson-esque pass in his pro day, and everybody loved it. What do you think about this guy?
So let's just start off really fast. This entire quarterback group, compared to the last 3 draft classes that we've had, Malik Willis for the past 2 weeks has been the name that's been coming up the most. It's because he had his hype at his pro day, did good at the combine. We saw a video of him helping some people, and then video of him throwing passes in the hotels. I mean, the guy's definitely making a name for himself. But some comments that were made early on into this offseason was that Malik Willis, if he's the number one quarterback out of this draft class, wouldn't even have been a first round draft pick last season.
True.
Now I don't know if that's just recency bias. We saw that we had a little bit of success come out of some of these guys. Some of them really underperformed, but as far as Malik Willis goes, he's got a very, very high ceiling. Dude's very big arm, can make the big plays. He's just not the most accurate. Someone that's kind of unpolished. And I think that he's getting sold off as a quarterback that's going to be going to a team that's going to be, starter day one. And he's probably someone, I think he's very talented. He's got a huge arm. He can make good plays. He can make good reads. But sometimes I don't know if he's just not able to complete the pass, doesn't have it in them, hasn't gotten the reps down to understand, get the throwing motion down and learn how to put that ball placement there. But some of his reads, when he throws his picks, it's why? What are you seeing there? Why are you extending the play out in the way that you do? He's not the most mobile out of this quarterback group, especially out of some of the guys that we're going to be talking about. But I think he's really going to benefit from a team that he can sit behind for a year. And I don't think he's going to get that opportunity. And I'm kind of sad about it because I do think that there's a lot of talent in his body, kind of like a Trey Lance, except he didn't go to that small of a school.
Yeah, see, I think Malik Willis, he's just very inconsistent as far as his accuracy goes. Sometimes he can make these big plays downfield. I do like his mobility because he doesn't rely on his mobility. Mm-hmm. But when he does have to get out of the pocket and move, he can do that and get some nice chunk plays. It's nice. Obviously, he's got a cannon. It's been showcased. I do think that he would have probably been. I know that everybody's been saying, oh, nobody would have been a first round pick. But seeing in this class, seeing Zach Wilson and Trey Lance go so high, I think somebody would have taken him. Somebody would have taken
possible.
Malik Willis. I don't think he's necessarily doesn't have the highest ceiling compared to those guys, in my opinion. But he does have a very high ceiling. I think if the right team can get their hands on him,
mm-hmm.
I think he could be a great quarterback. He does need to sit though. I do think he
Yeah.
needs to sit with and that's with most of these guys. There's only one, in my opinion, one NFL ready-ish quarterback who I would be comfortable starting this year, and that's Kenny Pickett. But I do like Malik Willis. I like his arm, but he does need to get a little more consistent on his throws, not being inaccurate. Also, some of his decision making.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying like he's just not polished yet, and I don't know if you polish his throwing mechanics, his accuracy, and his reads, he could be amazing. But if there's not much to polish there, and that's his limit, then that's what I'm saying. You're looking at someone who you're not going to know until you already have him, but you could have something great there. So I think he'd actually be a great fit for, and this is where a lot of people have been placing him. Are we saying that now or no?
Where he's going?
Yeah.
No. I mean, well, you can. Yeah. I mean, where do you think would be good fits for him?
What I think would be a good fit for him would be a situation where a quarterback, an elite quarterback is there, or there is someone else who can take over starting roles. Tampa, Green Bay. I think both options would be solid for him.
Not Green Bay. They already have Jordan Love. They have already got their guy. Come on now.
No, I know they're not going to, but I think a situation where like that. I think that Pittsburgh wouldn't be the worst option for him, and I know that's everyone's favorite spot for him to go. If he's not going to one of the teams that are going to throw him in as a starter right away, but I think Pittsburgh would be fine because he's not going to be put in a situation where he is sitting behind like an elite quarterback where he's not going to be he'll still get some reps in the year. Like they won't have Trubisky play out through the season and not let Willis at least get a shot here and there if they're up or down by a lot. And so he'll get some reps early on, kind of like what we saw with Trey Lance this year. But I think he's going to end up in one of the early on picks on a team that's going to force him out there week one.
I think that that Pittsburgh would be a great spot for him. That offense. My only concern there is their offensive line.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have Najee. He can rely on him to run the ball, but not really until that offensive line is fixed. If that offensive line gets fixed, I think that'd be a great spot for him. Rely on Najee, can make some big throws, has Deontay Johnson who can, catch anything. He can catch a lot. He can sustain a lot of targets.
That's fair.
But so I like that landing spot for him. I think Tampa Bay maybe. The one spot I think would be, my favorite spot for him is Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I think Mike Tomlin's a good enough coach to take him and actually do something for him. Let's move on over to Kenny Pickett, my favorite. Not my favorite. I don't want to say favorite because he's not my favorite, but I think the most NFL ready quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Does have the smallest hands.
Does.
Does.
You know who he reminds me of?
Let's hear it.
Joe Burrow.
Joey.
He reminds me of Joe
right.
Burrow.
It's funny.
Man.
His NFL comp is a Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. Just not the
Like an old school one, or Carson Palmer, or Andy Dalton?
Recent. Andy Dalton. A lot of people say he's like Andy Dalton, which is not bad.
See,
Andy Dalton.
It's been a while since I've seen a young Andy Dalton.
Feasible quarterback, and I think that's what he's gonna
Yes.
be. He can make the throws. He's not an amazing athlete, but he can still get out of the pocket when he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
He has decent, arm talent, if whatever you want to call it, strength of an arm, whatever, or arm strength. But he's pretty good at his decision making. I think he's solid. He doesn't make outrageously bad throws, but he does sprinkle a couple in there. But he also protects the ball.
Yeah. So what I've seen from him is semi decently framed guy. He's got the smaller NFL quarterback frame already. He's got small hands. Joey B has small hands. But what
He's
he
not
likes to do,
small. He's 6'3". 6'3". He's 220.
he's not Josh Allen big.
No. Whoa.
Like I said, he's got the smaller end of like the NFL ready frame. He's not Tua small. He's solid already. He's not giant, but you know what I'm saying. So what I was gonna say though is that he likes to be mobile in the back. He likes to play downfield and sit in the pocket, roll out if he needs to, starts feeling pressure, and then when he does, he likes to launch it. He really likes to play downfield, that 15 to 25 yard mark. And that's what we saw a lot of Joe Burrow do in his first year. And I think that you're looking at not saying that you're getting Joe Burrow or the talent, but you're getting a quarterback similar in play style from it. And he's not as ready as I would have expected Burrow to be. And everyone already had concerns about him coming in right away, especially with his limited time starting at LSU. But I do think that his 4 years starting for Pitt is going to be really solid for him. Now, I think that he needs to be going to a team that is going to allow him to take advantage of the talent that they already have there. And that's going to be Carolina for me. Really. I think that Carolina takes a shot on him, or there's one other guy that we're going to be talking about. But I think Kenny Pickett could really ball out by having the reliability of an outstanding wide receiver one already, an outstanding running back, not the worst line in the NFL, but one that's starting to get better and better every season. And I do think that the way that they've schemed the past 2 seasons, especially without even Christian McCaffrey being able to play, I think Kenny Pickett's ability to move the ball downfield, get out of the pocket, along with a little bit of coaching and refining that every goodie's going to get in the NFL, I think you're going to have a really good quarterback that could at least push you into the playoffs once or twice in the first few years.
So I could definitely see. I mean, that'd be a nice spot for him. You know, with CMC, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, obviously, and I mean, they need O-line help. They do need O-line help. So I did a mock draft earlier, and I didn't have my first quarterback off the board went off mid first round.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of weird how it fell. I do think that the Lions trade out of their spot, but I didn't have them trade out of their spot in that mock draft. But I kind of like him going to the Seahawks. If he can go to the Seahawks. He's got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, both great down the field, as well as, you know, I mean, they are.
No, I was going to say that hopefully DK doesn't get moved.
Yeah, I don't think he does. He tweeted out today. I haven't heard anything. So JPA Football actually tweeted that there was, you know, ongoing rumors. He retweeted that and said, "I have not heard any of that per DKM," and you know, tagged him.
You know, sometimes they don't tell you.
I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going anymore. I think AJ Brown is moved first before he is, and I don't know if AJ Brown's moved.
See, I don't. Yeah, we can talk about that when we get to the trade talk, the trade stuff later. But yeah.
But I would like to see him go to Seattle. Only reason being, I think that he is the most, like I said, pro-ready quarterback right now. But there's still Drew Lock there, who has some, you know, pro capability. You know, he can play. He's shown
he's done it before.
He's shown, you know, he at least deserves a competition. I don't think if they draft him, he gets thrown in right away. But I do think they go into camp and he gets a shot. And with DK Metcalf, with Tyler Lockett, with Chris Carson, and Rashad Penny there, the O-line's not great. Dwayne Brown's not signed, but he did say he would be willing to come back on a 1-year deal. So maybe that happens. But the Seahawks be a good spot for him, in my opinion.
Not a terrible one at all.
So let's move on. We're going on to Matt Corral. Let's go. What do you think about Matt Corral, John?
I like his mobility. The man can move. The man can move. And I do like the fact that, you know, I believe he was there. Was he throwing DK and AJ Brown's last year?
I don't know. I'm not even pretending like I know. I think so, but because he's a junior, is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty much a senior. He's a fourth-year junior. So he should have been. At least for DK. DK.
Well, no, they were drafted the
DK's
same season.
Mississippi, right? Were they?
Yeah.
Okay. I have the worst memory. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that's why they were both. That's why they're both up for eligible for extensions now.
That's true. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, Matt Corral.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get so lost in this, but yeah, no. I think he's gonna be someone that I'm not super excited for him. He's not someone that really jumps off the pages for me or anything. But he is a mobile quarterback. He can move out of the pocket very, very well. He does have a big body. He can truck some people. I think he had like 30 something missed either 62 or 32 broken tackles last season, this last 2 seasons. But he is someone that turns the ball over a lot.
Decision making not very good.
No, the decision making is definitely something that they're going to have to work on. But not someone I'm very, very excited for. If I had to take any guesses here, he's one of the last quarterbacks taken out of these 5.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, I think he needs to go to a place where there's an established run game, an established offensive line, and work off that. But he's going to be a backup. I think he gets drafted as a backup quarterback somewhere.
Like the Titans.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, in the second round, third round, but maybe pair him up with AJ Brown. There you go. Yeah, a good spot for him, of course. You know, everybody would love to have Derrick Henry, and that offensive line and receiving core and whatnot. But Matt Corral, I think he's great in RPO, style offense, can move, but in the NFL, his decision making is going to get exposed really quickly. So leaning on a run game somewhere, something like that, that's where he needs to be.
Yeah.
More than likely, like I said, getting drafted behind somebody. Maybe, here's an idea: the Commanders
behind
Wentz.
Not terrible.
Something.
Not terrible.
Antonio Gibson's there. J.D. McKissick.
I don't know, man. Maybe the Seahawks pair him up with DK.
Oh, pair him up there. But you got to think about it too. The coach, Ron Rivera. Jeez, Riverboat Ron. Doing the same thing with Cam Newton. I mean, obviously he's not Cam Newton because he's not the same size. But mobility, things like that, could work in that favor. That'd be a nice spot for him.
And then his receivers last year were Elijah Moore and what's it?
Ole Miss, man.
Yeah.
Ole Miss produces.
So he's produced some receivers. So he's had track team receivers though. Let's see what happens when he goes to the NFL. Again, out of these, we're doing our rankings after, but not my favorite guy.
Yeah, he's probably 4 or 5 for me. All right, let's jump over to Sam Howell, UNC quarterback. Kind of similar, but better.
There we go.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
Exactly. His decision making is much better, in my opinion. He can manipulate defenses and things like that. Makes some really good throws. Has a strong arm. Like him a decent amount. To be honest, he's my 3rd ranked quarterback. So I like him. Think he can but he's got to go to a place that he can sit for a year. I think a great spot for him would be the Falcons. Sit behind Mariota. But then again, my favorite quarterback should go to the Falcons because I think he can compete with Mariota this year. Anyways, just a
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Someone else I was thinking Pickett would be fine with was the Falcons because he likes that big play opportunity and their entire team's just built on speed. Generally, these past handful of years, it's going to depend on what options they have. But moving on to Sam Howell, I actually like him a lot.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
So it was funny. I was sitting there watching his film and stuff like that, a little bit of his film, And I was like, man, this guy looks like Mitch Trubisky. You know, it kind of reminds me of Mitch Trubisky, which is fine. I think Mitch Trubisky's going to be fine up in Pittsburgh. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people, in my opinion. Matt Nagy really dragged him down. Anyways, really reminded me of Mitch Trubisky. So then I was looking at his, pro comps, and a lot of them had Sam Ehlinger as the pro comp for him.
Oof.
So, but I looked at Sam Ehlinger's pro comps when he was coming out, and it was Mitch Trubisky. I thought that was kind of funny. So
yeah, that's just a bad little wheel to be a part of there. So no, I think Sam Howell's probably in my top 3 out of these guys. I think he's one of the more pro ready ones, honestly. Out of these 5. Like Kenny Pickett definitely has the most experience and played in one of the more high speed offenses that out of these 5. But Sam Howell had 3 years as a starter at UNC. And only this season was his only season where he saw any decline in stats and in his passing game. And the only reason you even saw that decline was because he started opening up his run game a lot. He ran for over 1,000 yards this season in 2021 while still throwing for over 3,000. His decision making in this year kind of fell apart, but I definitely think that he is someone that I think PFF has his comp as a slower Russell Wilson.
Okay.
And so I think he's actually a great option for Seattle. He's mobile but not fast. He can move, but he's not quick.
He's quick or he's fast? Which one? He's quick.
He's quick.
Not fast.
No. He's mobile, but he's not quick or fast. He's not jukey. He doesn't have good top line speed, but he can move. He's kind of like a slower Ryan Tannehill. Or, as mobile as Ryan Tannehill, but maybe a little bit better.
Ryan Tannehill's quick.
He can be. Fast. He can. Yes, exactly. He's quick, but not fast. He can move, but he's not getting you 60 yards. True. So I think he's got the arm strength to air out the ball. They've already incorporated that heavy run game that they have in Seattle that they're going to be seeing more of now that they've got Penny signed for another 1-year prove-it deal and Carson on his contract. I think that would be a great spot for him to get a fair shake.
Do you think he's a top 10 pick?
No.
That's where they're picking.
They can trade down.
I don't think they're trading
down.
I'm excited for this mock draft we're about to do. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. I think we have a season or a draft where I feel like this draft's going to be kind of like a fantasy draft, and where once someone takes a quarterback, they're all going to go. But until someone does, everyone's just kind of going to be waiting. And then once the QB needy teams are like, oh shit, they're starting to go, we need to get our guy, they're going to start making calls.
Yeah.
Unless they have multiples, and they're just going to keep like, no, we've still got 2. We can wait till our next pick.
I feel like a lot of these guys are semi-similar.
They are. It's because the landscape of the college quarterbacks much different than it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you wanted the guy that's semi-mobile but has a big arm and smart and can dot the pocket. Now you want the guy that can get out of the pocket, throw on the run, and air it out big. And hopefully he's able to keep the game consistent underneath. But we'll figure it out.
And you know who that is? It's his next guy. Desmond Ritter, baby. Desmond Ritter. I don't know. I like this guy a lot. Coming out of Cincinnati, they made the Final Four or whatever you want to call it, the football playoff. Great, massive arm. However, horrible. No, I don't want to say horrible. Very bad pocket presence, which is something that is very difficult to develop. But he can get out of the pocket, make plays with the legs, and his decision making is pretty bad at points as well. I do think that he can be. He's my favorite quarterback in his class. I think he has the highest upside. If the right team takes him, he can sit behind somebody. I don't want to say he's going to be the next Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen.
Oh my gosh! Please don't.
I do think he can be. So,
Oh my God.
yeah, I know.
You think he's that good?
I think he's that
I
good.
I think something that a lot of people give him. I think he had an ability to pad a lot of stats against Power 5 teams this season. Or throughout his.
Everybody's gonna talk about that.
I mean,
Oh,
everyone's going to because it's. I mean, I hate to say it, but it is a thing. When you get to throw for 400 yards against a bad team in the end of the season, like, yeah, it matters a little bit, just a little
bit, yes.
Yeah, it's just something to take into account. It's,
I mean, Josh Allen came from Wyoming.
Again, great. Absolutely great. Not saying it's not impossible, but let's reel in those expectations, you know?
I didn't say he's definitely going to be. I said he's got the best chance to get up there and compete with those guys, in my opinion.
Oh, see, I hate to say it. I think Malik Willis does, but I like Desmond Ritter. I think he's the second most pro ready out of all of them. And I think that he's someone that's going to, yeah, I think that he's.
See, I think he has to sit a year. I think he needs to sit a year.
I don't think a lot of teams are going to be drafting to sit a player. Maybe these, not the top 5 quarterbacks gone. There's so many teams that are looking for a guy like the Saints. Like they got Jameis Winston, maybe behind him. I think that Howell would be good behind Jameis Winston for a year too if they gave him the opportunity, or even Malik Willis. I think any of these quarterbacks would be good behind, sitting for a year, because I don't think any of them have proven to be that they're ready to go guy yet. Ritter just scares me a little bit. And it has nothing to do with his production, his abilities, or anything like that. It's just more of, why didn't he come out of the draft earlier? Why didn't he get out of college earlier? Was he afraid that he wasn't going to be drafted high? He claims to be the best in the class. It's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. I'm sure everyone else would do the same, though. And last guy we saw that said he was the best out of the draft class, drafted in the top 10 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I think he's a backup for the Falcons or the Bucs now.
For the Falcons, yeah.
I think he's been on 5 teams.
Technically, he was the starter for the Falcons. Hadn't started, but when Matt Ryan was traded away, he was QB1 for like a week and a half. So.
And even then, no, they had Felipe Franks, didn't they?
Yeah.
Felipe.
Come on now.
Let's get Felipe.
We watched Felipe.
I saw Felipe.
No. All right, so John, rank these quarterbacks.
All right, so my rankings on these guys, and we're gonna say if they had to start week 1, right?
Yes.
Okay, if they had to start week one, I'm gonna say Kenny Pickett. Then I'm gonna go. I almost want to change it because if they had to start week 1, it's Kenny Pickett, then Desmond Ritter, then Sam Howell, Malik Willis, and Matt Corral.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I said, I think
figured Malik Willis was higher.
No, I'm not sold on him. I think he's got a lot of upside, but I don't think that he's. I think that he's if the problem is this is what sucks, dude, is these top 5 quarterbacks are going to go to bad teams, and none of these guys have that spark that's going to take a bad team to amazing in a year, and then depending on when they're drafted, they're not going to get. They more than likely aren't going to get the chance they need, or be put in a situation that benefits them, and it's times like that where you see people's careers get wasted. So right now it's like, yeah, these guys could be great, but it's going to suck when 8 months from now, when we're like, yeah, nope, this guy's probably not going to be on this team next year. He's probably traded.
So, and this might be the only time I say this, and I might regret saying this. I don't know.
Might redact.
No, I never redact. Regret. Whoever gets drafted by the Lions will probably see a very successful career. Is that weird?
I think so as well. I think the Lions are in a very positive upswing and are going to be very successful in the next 4 years.
Weird to say, coming out of my mouth. Jared
Not
Goff
weird at all.
The starting quarterback. They have a good offensive line. They've got a good run game. Monroe St. Brown coming up. They need a couple other weapons. They have T.J. Hawkinson. They did get DJ Chark, yes, but he's only on a 1-year deal.
That's all he needs.
Well,
you got to prove it.
It's a prove it deal. Yeah,
it's a prove it deal.
Like
yeah.
I'm saying, like whoever goes there, whoever gets drafted by the Lions, if they do indeed draft a quarterback, they're not going to start this year. I think Jared Goff.
More than likely not. No.
So,
no.
But I think that'd be a good spot for Desmond Ritter, Malik Willis, pretty much everybody.
Be happy with that.
To sit. But yeah. So, all right. So I am gonna starting week one starter. Kenny Pickett is obvious one. Desmond Ritter. I feel like, maybe we just think the same. Malik Willis.
Did I sell you on Sam Howell?
Sam Howell, and then Matt Corral.
Can I sell you on Sam Howell a little bit more? I gave the wrong stat to the wrong person. Matt Corral didn't have 63 broken tackles in 2021. It was Sam Howell who had 63 broken tackles. The man can run through people.
All right. Mitch Trubisky. He reminds me of Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky.
He reminds me.
I like Trubisky.
Reminds me of Cam Newton. A little bit smaller, a little bit slower.
I said, what if he goes to
Commanders?
The Commanders.
The commies, man.
The commies. All right.
They honestly at this point should just sell their team and move on with their just restart.
Well, you heard what happened, right? Like the whole.
Yeah, they were hiding funds. Blah blah blah. Sales.
Oof. That might be it. That might be if that gets proven true, that's the straw that.
Yeah, you don't steal from a billionaire and get caught.
No, the billionaire was stealing from other billionaires.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You don't steal from a group of billionaires. Being a billionaire, that not only are they going to force you out of the NFL, they're going to start screwing over every single one of your businesses.
Yeah.
Imagine having 31 vendettas.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty rough. All right. Let's review these off-season trades. There's been a ton. It's been a very, 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 very active off-season. So I'm just going to run through these. All right. Tyreek Hill to Miami. Devonte Parker to New England. Deshaun Watson to Cleveland. Amari Cooper also to Cleveland. Matt Ryan to Indianapolis. Robert Woods to the Titans. Russell Wilson to Denver. Devontae Adams to Vegas. Rocky Sin was traded to Las Vegas. In return, Yannick Ngakoue went to the Colts. Khalil Mack to the Chargers. Wentz to the Commanders. And Shaq Mason to Tampa. There was also a pick swap today, actually.
Yes.
Or yesterday, if you're listening to this tomorrow. The Saints and Eagles. It's actually already updated in our mock draft that we're going to do here in a bit.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But yeah, the Saints got the 16th and the 19th pick, and then 194th, I think. They traded away their 18th, one next year, a bunch of others at the end of this year, and then a second in 2024.
So I'm looking at the Eagles draft picks for this season. They've got 10 picks. 2 firsts, a second, a third. I'm sorry, a second, 2 thirds, a fourth, 3 fifths, and a seventh. And then they also have 2 firsts next year, and then 2 additional first round or 2 second rounds in 2024. So
you know
the
what
Eagles, the Dolphins rebuild.
Exactly. Well, no. I mean,
acquire picks, use one, trade the other one off for future picks.
Not even that.
Rolling.
They are preparing
for Jalen Hurts to be gone.
Jalen Hurts' failure. Exactly. Just as the Dolphins are preparing for Tua's failure.
Ooh.
Potential
failure. No, take that back now. That's not what's going on. They're not preparing for Tua. No. We're not letting this blasphemy be said live on air. No. They're not preparing for Tua's failure. BS. They have given him every opportunity to
They have a backup plan. Let's just say that. Is that good? Backup plan?
They're not preparing for his failure. They're prepared if he fails. There's a difference. Preparing for his failure means they're expecting him to fail.
Okay.
In which case,
I'm sorry. Couple words, yes.
There's a big difference. We gotta make sure that we support our man. We don't want him.
I know. I am 100%.
Mike McDaniels came out today and said Teddy Bridgewater is the backup.
No, he said that a couple days ago.
Well, I just heard it today.
Okay.
Long weekend.
John, what trade sticks out to you the most, and why?
Obviously, I'm a Dolphins fan. The Tyreek Hill pick stands out to me the most, but we spent some time on that last week. I think one of the best pairings, though, is going to be the Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper trade. Pairing them together is going to give Cleveland not only that great run game, but as well as giving them a completely new passing game. No Jarvis Landry, no OBJ. I think Rashad Higgins is gone. And you've got Donovan Peoples-Jones, yourself some Amari Cooper. Very underrated. He showed big flashes last season.
Fantasy-wise, he's one of my grabs later on.
Absolutely. And then they're pretty stocked up on picks as well this season, especially with the Deshaun Watson trade. So I'm expecting them to probably snag another receiver in this draft. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's someone that gets super hyped up going into the rookie draft this fantasy season.
Yeah. So, mine is the Russell Wilson trade. You know, it's funny because, we talked about it when it happened. As soon as it happened, obviously a lot of these moves hadn't been made. A lot of the signings hadn't been made in the AFC West and things like that. I was gung-ho on, the Broncos being, finishing first in the division. That was before Tyreek Hill got traded. That's right after Khalil Mack went to the Chargers. No, actually, no, right before. Sorry. So I thought they were going all in, and I think they are. And I think they still could finish.
Chargers or Broncos?
Chargers. Yes.
You're going Chargers now.
Yeah, I said that last episode.
Okay.
I said that.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Can I do the pie in the face now, or do we have to actually?
No,
wait?
The season has to go.
The season has to end. So you're not
because Russell Wilson.
So then you better start riding that high horse, man. You better gallop on into the Broncos winning this division.
No, I think they are. I also really like the Matt Ryan trade. I think some more consistency, less. Carson Wentz didn't have a ton of turnovers, but when he did have the turnovers, it was in a horrible spot. Matt Ryan, I think, will be a better, more consistent quarterback for this team when they need it. He's been to the Super Bowl. Okay, he knows what that's like, things like that.
We want to credit him for being in the Super Bowl that is the biggest joke of a Super Bowl. He is.
No, that is not the biggest joke of a Super Bowl. That is not the biggest joke.
His biggest claim to fame is Tom Brady's best comeback.
No, the biggest joke of a Super Bowl is Peyton Manning going up against the Seahawks and the first snap being a safety. Come on. Over his head. Let's go. That's the biggest joke of a Super Bowl that I've seen. Okay.
That doesn't make the joke of a Super Bowl, but
yes, it does. When you
No one talks about
that. Outscored by 40 points.
No one's talking about that now.
Outscored by 40 points.
No one's talking about that now.
I am.
I know. I haven't heard anyone talk about that in a while. It's like,
Everybody's, you know why? Because the
Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl is thinking of the Bears.
28-3 is low hanging fruit. It's just like saying Tua can't throw deep.
No, it's not.
Yes,
no, it's not. Tua can throw deep. There's videographic evidence of him doing it. There's also videographic evidence of Matt Ryan losing the Super Bowl to Tom Brady after having a 28-3 lead early in the third quarter.
I get that, and we're gonna continue to argue this off air. However, and we need to get moving forward. However, it was not just on Matt Ryan.
No,
Kyle Shanahan has been in multiple Super Bowls, and he has happened to lose them in the fourth quarter. That's all I'm saying. All right. Talk to me about this Devonte Parker trade. Devonte to New England.
I like it for the Dolphins because we're getting able to stack up on picks that we've, started getting rid of to bring in Tyreek Hill. The cap obligation for Devonte Parker was moderate, pretty sizable, moderate.
Yeah, $8 million.
It's solid money. It's a receiver.
It took
it's
us
a receiver
from $11
contract.
million to $20 million
Yeah,
available now.
It's not an expensive contract, but it's not cheap.
Right.
So I think that he was going to be our number 3 receiver on the team, and he possibly number 4. And so time to move on. The Patriots need him. This obviously will kick N'Keal Harry most likely off the team and onto practice squad or a waivers.
Somebody will grab him.
Walmart, who knows? So I like it, and it's just weird. Everyone talks about how they don't want to trade players interdivisional and blah 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 blah. But for some reason, the Patriots and Dolphins just back and forth, no problem.
Yeah, I think that's like their 6th trade together. I don't think. And I sent you the tweet. Somebody tweeted out my exact thoughts. As soon as it happened, Devonte Parker to New England, the Dolphins didn't care. They don't care if he's interdivisional. He plays 50% of the games, first of all. Second of all, if he happens to line up against us, he's going up against 2 very good cornerbacks who would play him
all the time
in practice all the time. They know him. I mean, not to say he's not going to, beat him every once in a while and things like that, because they have had some very good practices together.
Huh?
But I'm not going to be worried about it. As far as Devonte Adams, I think a lot of people in a fantasy aspect are and I guess this works for Tyreek and Devonte. I feel like both those guys are a little undervalued now in fantasy. Obviously Devonte Adams being paired up with his college quarterback, and everybody keeps talking about the long ball or deep ball to Tyreek Hill when most of his catches are 5 yards from the scrimmage line or less.
Yep. Everyone's just so smart though.
Yeah. One trade and one other one before we move on. For me, I mean, you can talk about what you like. Others that stick out to you, but Khalil Mack to the Chargers. That's nice.
It is very solid.
Their secondary, they need a linebacker to kind of, help them out a little bit. But in that aspect, but outside of that, their defense is nasty. Their offense is nasty. I still think that Justin Herbert will never win a Super Bowl, but he'll make a deep run in the playoffs.
There you go.
Yeah. Dolphins, Chargers, AFC Championship, Tua, boom, takes us to
Oh my
Super
God,
Bowl.
that would be sweet justice. Imagine that. Divisional round, we're playing play the Bills, because they didn't get the let's say they didn't get the 1 seed. For some reason we match up against the Bills week 1, win the wild card. Not the wild. Oh, we wouldn't. Never mind. Yeah. Play the Bills. Then we play the Bengals. Then we play the Chargers. Then we go to the Super Bowl and play the Bucs. Boom. Dolphins paradise.
Dolphins paradise.
We beat the Bills,
True.
Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. Yeah, no. Hey, I'll be dreaming about that tonight.
I had
Speaking of
that
the
dream last night.
Buccaneers, yeah, right. I dream about that a lot. Speaking of the Buccaneers, Bruce Arians retiring, Todd Bowles taking over as new head coach. How do you think this affects them? It's a pretty, I don't want to say easy NFC, because it's not easy. Playing 17 games a year is not easy. But when you're Tom Brady, I guess it is. So do you think this affects them?
No, the Bucs are still, the Buccaneers are probably the number 2 team in the division with Bruce Arians, and they're probably the number 3 team without him, if
in
not still number. I'm sorry, in the conference.
Okay, I was about to say
the number 2, maybe number 3 team in the conference.
Jameis.
No. The Saints are going to be abysmal this year. I think there's only like 4 or 5 competitive teams in the NFC right now, maybe 6, and you're looking at the Packers, the Bucs, the Rams, the Vikings. Cowboys? Maybe?
No.
I mean, and maybe
They
the
were in on that
49ers.
Devonte trade too.
Yeah.
They wanted
Yeah.
Devonte.
They should have snagged him up. I would have done a 1-for-1 swap with Cedric Wilson. We could have just passed that line along.
Cedric was a free agent.
So could have just passed that right along.
Yeah. All right. No, I don't think this does much. I think Todd Bowles. I actually had this conversation. We have this conversation. I think Todd Bowles is a very good coach. Was dealt a bad hand in New York. Obviously has led this defense to multiple very good years, and I think he continues that. Obviously, Tom Brady coming back helps, because last time he was a head coach, Sam Darnold was his quarterback.
Yeah.
So, all right. We've got our mock draft. Before that, though, John, entertain the people. I've got to use the bathroom.
Oh. Surprise, surprise.
Talk about Tyreek Hill to Miami.
Tyreek Hill to Miami. How about we do this? We've got, how about go to your bathroom. I'm going to talk. We've got a guest in the chat. We got Chris Gibbon in the chat. How you doing, Chris? Thank you for always coming. EA Sports can even program Tua throwing deep. Ouch. My man must have posted a video of Tua on Madden. Everyone wants to talk about how Tyreek Hill is going to affect Tua. Well, what it's going to do is open up that short game and that deep game. Then we're going to start seeing some deep balls coming from Tua like we saw from the first few years at Alabama. Everyone knows that pre-injury Tua at Alabama was able to air the ball out 45, 50 yards. This season, Tua only trailed Josh Allen in deep ball attempts at 50 yards and over by 1 attempt. And 20 yards and plus, he only trailed him by 8 attempts. And that's only playing 13 games compared to the 16. Therefore, the Tua cannot throw deep conspiracy theory is busted. It, of course, can. Chris, what do you think about your Cowboys? I know you've let us know that you feel like they've been sitting a little quietly over the free agency period. What are you expecting from them come this draft time? I know you guys have a later pick because for some reason you guys won more games than you should have. All right. I think that the Cowboys draft picks. See, the Cowboys are drafting at number 24 with multiple picks later on. So you guys actually have some opportunity to move up your 4 fifth-round picks possibly up to, I don't know, like a third maybe? Second, third, fourth, fifth.
Did you see what Chris just said?
No.
Issue with Tyreek at Miami. Once defense double teams him, you have no one to catch the ball. Except for, I don't know, the rookie pass catching record. Jalen maybe Mike Gesicki, Cedric Wilson, who happened to be on the Cowboys last year and was their wide receiver 1 for a nice stint.
Chase Edmonds can catch 40 balls out of the backfield a year. All right, let's jump into this mock draft now that you're nice and unloaded.
Right. Yes, I am. Here we go. It's going to be fun. John, you're going to go 1, though. All right?
I'm going to go 1.
I want to see what you do. Yes. And there are no trades.
So we're not doing trades. Okay, that's fair.
No trades. Now, we'll just keep it easy, stick to it. Maybe next week we'll get a lot more in-depth as far as trades and things like that go, because I do think the Lions will trade out of their pick, but I want to see, John, who are you taking number 1?
Who am I taking? It's not me that's taking anyone. It's the Jaguars. They've got the first overall pick, and I think right now the consensus is that the Jaguars are more than likely going to be going with edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson. So he will be going to Jacksonville.
All right. That's interesting because obviously Cam Robinson, their left tackle, is not under contract long-term, only playing on the franchise tag. They both are saying they want to come to a deal, but no deal has been made yet. So
not yet.
My only thing there is, do they grab, which I think they go, well, right now I think they go Aiden Hutchinson. Tomorrow I could wake up and think they go Evan Neal. It's kind of been that back and forth for me. The only reason why I say they may go tackle is because Cam Robinson is not signed to a long-term deal. I think that will have an effect come draft day. Obviously we don't know like behind the scenes and stuff like that. So if they get Evan Neal,
I'm personally on the feeling that top tier edge rushers are harder to come by than solid tackles. Cam Robinson's more replaceable than Aiden Hutchinson is.
But they already have Josh Allen, and they have him a couple more years.
Do they, though?
Yes.
Do they really, though?
He's still on his
wasn't he drafted the year before Josh Allen? This would be his last season, wouldn't it?
Year after.
Yeah.
Because Josh Allen, it was kind of. Anyways, but I do think that's a good pairing with him. All right, so this is kind of where my draft got crazy. I think that this is the way that I'm not taking Kayvon Thibodeau. I think that he falls down draft boards. I don't think Trayvon Walker is worthy of a top tier pick. They don't need offensive linemen. They just drafted Penei Sewell. They're not going to grab a quarterback this early. I truly think they trade down. However, if they stay here, I think they grab one of the best draft prospects in a long time. I mean, this guy, Kyle Hamilton, safety, Notre Dame. He's one of the top safeties coming, if not the top safety draft prospect for years. I think they grab him. Nice safety there. I just think he is more valuable to that defense than Kayvon Thibodeau or Trayvon Walker or Malik Willis is to their offense. So, yes.
Okay. So I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's wild. They have another. They have what? Pick.
They have 32nd pick.
Oh, you're right. Okay. I thought they had an earlier one for some reason. Okay. So you've got them taking Hamilton.
And that's why I think they trade away.
I do too. I do too, but
the Saints just made those moves. Maybe they trade both of those picks to get up to the 102. And then
very, very possible.
So,
very possible.
But
so going on to the Houston Texans at the number 3 pick, I honestly think that they're another team that could be looking to trade back. They're got holes everywhere on their roster. They've got a high-end draft pick, and if you could move back to a 15 to 20 spot and grab a second-round pick as well, definitely going to do that. But if they don't, I think, and this is how the draft board's going, I think they would take Evan Neal at this point. They seem to be somewhat committed to at least giving Davis Mills a fighting chance. And if they decide to not go Davis Mills next season, they would still want to shore up that tackle position. Right now, they only have one solid offensive lineman right now. And, he comes from good old-fashioned Miami. Facilitated.
He is the reason we have Tyreek Hill.
Facilitated our whole team right now. So do think that they shore up that and give Davis Mills some more chances.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think that's definitely a spot for him. A solid spot, grabbing Evan Neal there. So I like that pick, and I like this next pick. I'm picking for the Jets, unfortunately. They need a tackle. Mekhi Becton they have Mekhi Becton, George Fant.
No, they've got
Elijah Vera Tucker is a guard.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, tackle. I thought you were just talking about lineman.
So this will be their third first-round pick for their offensive line in a row. I'm going Ikem Ekwonu from hold on. I'm going to redo this. Sorry, I just messed that up. I hit the wrong button. I wish you could edit it. Let me just make these picks real quick. But anyways, Icky from North Carolina State. I do think that he's arguably, the best tackle. Him and Evan Neal, I think it's a toss-up. So I do like Icky from North Carolina State. John, you're up New York Giants.
All right. So if the Giants are on the board and you're missing out on the two top offensive tackles on the draft at this point, I think they're going to take this opportunity to move back to edge, being that Kyle Hamilton's gone. I think they take this opportunity to go with Trayvon Walker. Like you said earlier, I think Thibodeau is someone who's going to be falling down the draft board on draft day. There's already reports that he's possible he falls out of the first round. But we'll have to see what happens there. So Trayvon Walker, edge rusher to the New York Giants, 5th pick.
All right. I think that's kind of high for him. Kayvon Thibodeau, my thing about him is he came in to the combine saying how he's going to do everything. This is a job interview and blah, blah, blah. Ends up skipping half of the workouts, half the drills and things like that. So I do think that Kayvon falls. Trayvon Walker will be drafted ahead of him. I just don't know if it's this high. But could add that nice pass rushing, coming from Georgia, you play big time Alabama, big time schools all the time.
And
So,
they've put
I
out
do
some
like that.
very good defensive linemen and edge rushers these past few years.
Yes. So, all right, John, here we go. Your Panthers. You kind of like Malik Willis there. One
I
guy we
do.
talked about going there. I just don't know if it's this early. They really need help around the offensive line. Charles Cross, Mississippi State, offensive tackle, can help shore up that offensive line. So I like Charles Cross there.
That's fair. So you think this is going to be a super O-line heavy draft up early?
I think it can be. I do. Only reason being is the weakness at quarterback. Because there are a lot of quarterback-needy teams up here.
No, there are. I just feel like we see a lot more teams going defense instead of third tackle and early in the draft, but you never know. It could easily happen. But that cross pick definitely screwed where I thought the Giants were going to be going with my next pick with them.
Did you think they were going there?
I mean, yeah, their biggest needs this year are going to be tackle and edge rusher. So they took on Walker, who's someone that early few weeks ago was someone that was talked about going number 2 overall. He started to fall back recently. So now that they no longer Cross is gone, that leaves the next offensive tackle is Trevor Penning, who I don't think they want to take that jump on. So realistically, I would put them in a situation to where they trade back. But it looks like right now, if we're not doing trade backs, their best opportunity here. I really don't like it. Man, it sucks for the Giants.
I do think they would trade back here at this point.
Yeah,
Only reason I think that the 3 tackles are off the board right now are because Evan Neal and Icky are so good, or good enough to be. That leaves the Panthers, who other than quarterback, that's their biggest hole. I would say is their offensive line. So it does screw up the Giants.
It does. It screws me up a lot. So
Do you go Daxton Hill this early?
I don't think so. I do not think so. No, because he's someone that they have an early second, and I highly doubt multiple safeties are going out in the first round. It's not something you see.
I think he's going
often
before the end. But
I think last season the prop bets for safeties getting drafted was sitting at 1 or 2 over under 1.5 because it's very unlikely for safeties to get drafted in the first round. Mike, you screwed me here. All right, yeah. So I'm just gonna have to go here. They're gonna go Garrett Wilson. Boom. Screw up your draft.
Okay. Garrett Wilson. Wow. Yeah.
Let Darius Slayton go bye-bye. Kenny Galladay's money. Get rid of him at the end of the year. Give Daniel Jones another top-end receiver. You got Kadarius Toney, Garrett Wilson, and Kenny Galladay for 4 games.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, with you taking Trayvon, well, not you. With the Giants taking Trayvon Walker early, I do think they could grab a wide receiver there. But at the end of the day, I really do think they trade back. The person I would have. It's really hard doing this with two people. It's funny. Imagine teams doing it with 32 other or like 31 other teams.
Mm-hmm.
31 other GMs. It's funny. I would have had Garrett Wilson going to the Falcons. That's where I had him going earlier. However, no Garrett Wilson. So
no Garrett Wilson.
obviously, gotta
go Drake London.
No, So the only reason why I don't think Drake London goes there, they've already got Kyle Pitts, big body, pretty much a receiver. They're different but I think they need like a speedier. I think Jameson Williams could be a good fit, but I don't really like him going there. I know I said Kayvon Thibodeau would fall, but with Garrett Wilson gone, I'm going Chris Olave. Chris Olave going to be the second wide receiver off the board, going there to. He's got the speed. He's nice. Tall, not tall, but 6'1", can get downfield, can create separation. I like Chris Olave a lot. I think he's gonna jump up pretty nice. I could see this where both Ohio State wide receivers go off 1-2.
Maybe. I mean, I could see situations. Yeah, it's possible. They're both top 5 wide receivers on the draft board right now, and I don't know. I don't know if we start seeing, like you said, it's different when you got two people gone. I don't know if we see multiple receivers gone in the first 10 picks.
I think we're going to be surprised with the receiver position. I really do. Anyways, you're up.
Good.
Seahawks.
All right, so I'm back on the Seahawks here. And damn, they've got their pick of the mill at the quarterback position, and I feel like that's going to be their spot. Now, they've got everyone. So this is what makes it hard for me is...
Who do they pick?
Right? Which quarterback? I do feel like they'd go quarterback, and they'd pick their favorite at this spot. As much as I want it to be Sam Howell, I don't think if he's the one available, he's going to be going there. I'm actually going to say that they're going to go Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. All right, let's find. There he is. Kenny Pickett. Boom. Competing with Drew Lock. I think, Drew Lock deserves a chance to compete, and I think Kenny Pickett deserves a chance to compete as well and potentially start. So I could definitely see that. That could really help this franchise and, get back on track as far as the quarterback spot. They just really need help with that offensive line. So, Jets picking at 10. They
have to go wide receiver.
I don't think they do.
Really?
I actually think they need to go cornerback.
Yeah. See, that's why I'm not so hot on them taking a tackle so early, is because they've been one of the hottest teams in the market for a receiver this offseason. They have had excessive talks with Ahmad Gardner throughout the pre-draft period after the pro day. And then there's been all this talk about them being all over Drake London as their wide receiver out of the draft. But I've also seen a lot of mocks where they've had Thibodeau going and then Garrett Wilson going at 10. But obviously this is just a mock draft.
Yeah, see, so none of those guys you named is who I'm taking here. I think I know Sauce Gardner is the most talked up guy, hasn't allowed a touchdown, blah, 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 blah. I understand that. But Derek Stingley getting to practice against Jamar Chase every practice, except for this year, obviously, or 2 years. But and then playing for a big time school, LSU. I think he's the best all around cornerback in this draft. I do think I like Ahmad Gardner's attitude, how he approaches the game, but I think they take Derek Stingley here. Add to that secondary. But
so Derek Stingley, not to be dick, Derek Stingley only played his freshman year with Chase.
There's some video of them going up against each other.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
All right, so you're
They're
on
saying it's
Stingley
the
here.
best cornerback, best safety, or best DB coming out of LSU ever.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
I do like him.
All right. So now we're over to the Washington Commanders. Now that the fact that you left Gardner there, I know they need wide receivers, but I don't think they're not first round wide receiver desperate when they've got other holes. They've still got Terry McLaurin. They've still got not Robbie Anderson. Was it Robbie Anderson?
Yeah, they have.
Curtis Samuel. They've still got Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, they have Curtis.
And they've just spent like the past 3 years picking up receivers in the 3rd and 4th round. I do think that they grab another receiver later on. But I do think that if they hit this situation right now, they would. And for some reason that Kyle Hamilton was drafted early, I think they would have taken Kyle Hamilton here. But now that they're not, I think they're going to go Ahmad Gardner and take that corner and add some depth to that defense.
There we go. This kind of falls perfectly, I think, into the Vikings because we're up at 12. Vikings are up. I think this falls perfectly into their hand. They grab one of the best interior defensive linemen in a while. I will say in a while. Jordan Davis, dominated in Georgia. I think they'd be perfect on their defensive line. Kyle Hamilton's not there. So, I mean, grabbing Jordan Davis really helped shore up that defensive line, and that, especially that, defensive tackle spot. So,
all right, Houston Texans. I'm going to give them Kayvon Thibodeau. I think that's a good spot for him to go. In this draft, we've already given them some offensive line help, so I think that they'll be fine with that. Get some pressure on both ends of the lines.
Very good, very good. So earlier I had Ahmad Gardner actually going to the Ravens here, which I think would have been fire with him and Marlon Humphrey on the other side. It's difficult. I like Devonte Wyatt, but the thing is, with him, is he a little overrated because he played next to Jordan Davis? That's my only issue is with Devonte Wyatt. I think he goes a little bit later. I don't think they take him. Andrew Booth, coming out of Clemson. I think this is another spot for him. Like I said, shoring up that other side, opposite of Marlon Humphrey, could be a spot for him. Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State, the edge rusher, getting a nice pass rusher there, could be it.
I'm going
Jermaine. Who'd you think?
I think they go receiver here.
I don't think they go receiver. I really don't. I don't think they need a receiver right now. They got Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown. It plays perfectly into their scheme. They have J.K. Dobbins coming back, Gus Edwards coming back. They're another team I think they can grab a receiver later on. I don't think they need.
I think they need a certain type of receiver, and there's one sitting on the board. They need that big Drake London. I think they need that big Drake London.
I think that's Mark Andrews though. That's the thing.
But it's not. You're not putting Mark Andrews out wide to catch. You're putting Mark.
But I mean, is that really the type of quarterback that I'm not saying? Don't get me wrong. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying Lamar Jackson can't throw, but those aren't the throws he makes. That's not how his game is played. I don't think.
Okay. All right. So it's cool. It's your pick. Who are you taking?
No, it's your pick. I just picked Jermaine Johnson. You're up. Eagles.
Oh, I didn't know if you actually grabbed him. Okay, so Eagles.
Yeah, Jermaine Johnson. Yep. Florida State edge rusher. Add to that defense.
Eagles.
No more Calais Campbell.
You know who's going to the Eagles? The guy that should have went to the Ravens. Drake London, wide receiver.
All right, there we go.
USC.
There we go. Drake London.
Following up that annual first wide receiver, first round wide receiver. That was super hyped coming into it, but because of the team that he's on, it's going to underwhelm.
Yeah. It just goes. I don't think they take a receiver this first round. I really don't. Just because they've done it so often.
They've got too many picks not to, and their receiving core is still one of the worst in the leagues.
Yeah, no, it's pretty bad. But I mean, Jalen Reagor could step up for sure.
What's the last?
Could.
Hey, JJ Arcega-Whiteside could too, man. You know,
no
first round talent.
Jalen Reagor is much better.
Yeah.
All right, pick 16. The Saints were halfway through because they just picked Jameson Williams. They have the time to let him heal with his ACL. He's probably one of the most explosive receivers in this draft class. Pairing him with Mike Thomas will be perfect for Jameis Winston. You can get the ball into Jameson Williams' hands, and he can, he's a very good receiver. He can stretch the field. He can catch it behind the line of scrimmage. He can do a lot. It sucks that he hurt himself. It sucks that he tore his ACL. I think he might have been the first receiver off the board if he had not gotten hurt. The crazy thing about this, Jameson Williams was at the Ohio State. Like, he was an Ohio State receiver. And transferred because he didn't get any playing time.
It's almost like Ohio State can't recognize talent sometimes.
Yeah. Like Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Smith, and Jigba.
Like letting Joe Burrow walk so that you can play Dwayne Haskins.
Winning a national championship. Let's go.
I mean, that's cool. Imagine what Joe Burrow could. Joe Burrow won a national championship.
I know he did.
And Heisman.
Actually, it wasn't even Dwayne Haskins that did.
Exactly.
Won one game. It was Cardale Jones.
All right. So moving on to the next pick, we got the Chargers at pick 17. After all this work they've done on the defense and free agency, it would be pretty dumb of them not to shore up that offensive line even more and protect that quarterback that they're investing their future into. So we're going to give them Trevor Penning, offensive tackle out of Corn Fed, Northern Iowa.
Yeah, I think this is probably the biggest lock of the draft. Trevor Penning to the Chargers. In my opinion, I think that's
best tackle on the board when they draft is right. A lock for me.
Yeah, I mean they drafted Rashawn Slater, but they still need to get the other side. So, like that, like you said, especially with the defensive moves in the off season.
This is gonna be a very offense heavy
Let's go.
draft.
Huh?
This could be a very offense heavy draft for them if they wanted it to be.
Could be. They could trade back and grab every other offensive lineman available. All right, the Eagles are back up on the clock, and you know what that means? They're going.
Dun, dun, dun.
They're going to Andrew Booth, best player available. Also fits the need, cornerback. So other than a quarterback. So, Andrew Booth, Clemson, cornerback. Could be a good fit.
All right, it's time. The Saints are the ones to do it. Saints, pick number 19, grabbing Malik Willis, going to sit behind Jameis Winston for a year, really learn and develop, and be that guy.
There you go.
You don't like it?
No, I do.
Okay. I can't see you.
That's a good spot for him. I know. You just see this little picture of me smiling. All right, Steelers up. We all know their offensive line has been their biggest weakness, especially this past 2 years. And one of the best interior offensive linemen are still available. Zion Johnson from Boston College, I think helps shore up that offensive line. Young guy can really help Najee produce. So I like Zion.
All right. New England Patriots at pick 21, going to grab Trent McDuffie. I think probably one of the more overrated corners out of the draft. I think that he's not the best out of the draft. I like him a little bit more than Booth. I think that he's coming from a smaller school, so I think that he's slept on a little bit, but I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. And for a team that's notorious for finding talent in the draft, I think the Patriots are the one to make the move on him.
All right. Yeah, maybe. I kind of think they go linebacker. I mean, Devin Lloyd's there. You know, you have
They've
Nakobe Dean.
gone deep on linebacker like the past handful of years.
Yeah, that's true. But
Like
I still think they're searching. They're searching. They're searching for their Teddy Bruschi.
they got Josh
I don't know
Uche.
if any of them. Yeah, but he's more of a pass rusher, outside linebacker. But anyways, Packers pick. You know, they have to go wide receiver here. You know, and with arguably the best wide receiver. I mean, there's a lot of people who have this guy as wide receiver 1. But Treylon Burks out of Arkansas, I think it's a great fit for him.
I think it's a great spot.
Playing with Aaron Rodgers is not going to hurt.
No.
So, all right. We got the Arizona Cardinals.
These guys. I think the Cardinals are going to be a little tough.
They are a very tough team, actually, to, figure out. Who are they picking?
So best player out of their needs for me right now, it would be Kyer Elam, the cornerback from Florida.
Yeah.
But I don't. You know, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just gonna pick him. I think that's a very solid pick for them. If there's not a better edge rusher available, it's very possible they would have went that way.
Yeah. No, I could definitely see that. Him or George Karlaftis there. I think those are the 2 picks for him. Cowboys are up. You know, they've been looking for a wide receiver. They just re-signed Michael Gallup. You know, obviously they have CeeDee Lamb. I don't think they take a wide receiver here, even though they've been in trade talks and stuff like that. They were interested in Devonte Parker. I think it's way too early for them. So I'm really torn. I'm torn between George Karlaftis and Daxton Hill. Do they want to shore up that secondary, especially when Micah Parsons is doing what he's doing? I mean, he's
yeah. I would if it was me picking, it would have been Daxton Hill.
And that's where I'm leaning. But do you give Michael Parsons the help with George Karlaftis? I think you take Daxton Hill and help that secondary. You know, yes, whatever his name. Who's the cornerback there? Trayvon Diggs. Yes, he turns the ball over a lot, but he also gets burnt a lot. So he needs, some help in that secondary. So I think they grab a safety. Who are you picking here? And I also want to know, you do need a better O-line. Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm picking another line here.
No, not you.
Oh.
I'm saying, Chris Gibbons said in the chat, we need a better O-line, talking about the Cowboys. Could see him taking Tyler Linderbaum, but I think they focus on the defense.
So with the Cowboys missing on Tyler Linderbaum, the Bills are going to take the upgrade from Mitch Morse and go play Tyler Linderbaum at center this year and get him right in there. Make this man great.
Here's my take. I think this is going to be one of the biggest shakeups. The Bills there. I think they grab Breece Hall. They need a running back. They need, like we said it through the entire year. Yes, they started to get a little bit of a run game at the end, but it wasn't enough. I think they could shake it up, kind of do what the Kansas City Chiefs did, even though it was with the wrong running back. But with Clyde Edwards-Helaire at the end of the draft a couple years ago, I think they take Breece Hall, get him for 5 years. Could shake it up a lot. But I like that spot for Tyler Linderbaum too. He's a mauler. Could really fit that Bills attitude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As far as the Titans, I don't think they go wide receiver unless they trade away A.J. Brown. And if they do, Jahan Dotson would fill immediately. But the two best linebackers are still on the board. I think they hit that linebacker spot, and they're going to go Devin Lloyd.
I would agree. I would have to agree with that for sure. Now, let's talk about these Buccaneers. I don't think they go wide receiver. I don't think they're going cornerback yet. Some of the better corners already gone. There seems to be a lot of best player available at their need would be Kenyon Green, helping out with some of that offensive line that fell apart for him.
Yeah, I mean, who is it? Just retired.
Ali Marpet? No.
Ali Marpet. Yeah, Ali Marpet just retired.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So you're going Kenyon Green?
Yeah.
All right. Boom. There you go. All right. This fits perfectly for the Packers. I think if they take this guy, they spent both of their first-round picks very wisely, and that's George Karlaftis. I didn't think George Karlaftis would fall this far, but since he did, I'm going to take him here. I also had him potentially taking David Ajabo. Before he popped his Achilles, was supposed to be a top 20 pick, top 15 pick. So now that, his Achilles is
better.
Yeah, well, not good. No, it just happened. It is pro day.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's in better shape than it was then.
Yeah. So, but David Ajabo would have been a good fit here, but George Karlaftis is there, so got him.
All right, Kansas City Chiefs.
This is an interesting one.
This is because it's what type of receiver they're drafting a receiver. I would say that it's almost a lock. They're number one picks, unless there's no top end receivers left for some reason. I think that it's almost clear that they draft a receiver. It comes down to what type do they want. I don't think that their first go-to is to try to find a replacement Tyreek Hill, because they tried that already with Mecole Hardman, and they're still dealing with that decision.
And he's still on the team. Could be it.
He's not going to be, though.
Not Tyreek, but similar.
So they do have Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Josh Gordon. So they do have some height at the receivers if they really, really need it. And so I don't know if many people are going to agree with me on this one, but I think that Christian Watson's someone that fits into their scheme pretty decently. I just don't know if he's worth that first round pick. He's coming out of playing with Trey Lance. Could be very, very talented. I think they're going to be a little upset. I think they go John Mechie's still there.
John Mechie is still there. Sky Moore is still there, who has been there, has moved up draft boards quite a bit. I think he's a little overrated.
Yeah, I do as well. And then George Pickens.
Jahan Dotson's still there.
Jahan Dotson, I'm not.
I like Jahan.
If they're trying to replace Tyreek Hill, they would go Jahan Dotson, and I think they're not going to. I don't think they're trying to find the 5'10" guy that can run the low 4.40. I think they're trying to find 6'2" Colin Powell like they did last season, who's no longer on the team. And that big guy that can get the ball, secure catch, but is also somewhat quick.
Yeah, but I think Jahan Dotson's a little underrated in that aspect. Like, I do think he can go up and get the ball. He's shown it. He just happens to also be speedy and smaller. But
yeah. I mean, he's about the same as a Rondale Moore, Elijah Moore, except not as fast.
All right. Let's see here. We've got the Chiefs up again. David Ajabo. David Ajabo. Boom. Going there. He's one of my favorite edge rushers. I know Boye Mafi is there, but I would rather. I know coming off an Achilles, it's a pretty serious injury. However, we've just seen Cam Akers, come off of it in 6 months. Being how young he is, I think he can bounce back and kind of return to what he was. I think this could be very, very good value for David Ajabo.
See, I think he falls well into the second round just because of the injury. He's not playing a majority of the season, if at all, this year. He's not going to be in OTAs. He's not going to be around for most of training camp. So I think that teams will get him at a value, but someone's going to grab him later. Especially teams like the Chiefs that are going to be going for a first round pick or, trying to be competitive this year. They're going to want to be using that first round pick on something that's going to be used to hopefully clean up the season.
But he's going to be there, though, at the end of the season. I
mean, hopefully, possibly, maybe.
No, for sure. It's 7 months.
Hopefully.
I mean, there's no setbacks.
I was going to say, I was going to say that 7 months is a best case scenario. And just because Cam Akers was able to do it and some other players are, it's.
Well, he did it less than that. But.
Exactly. It's very possible, and it's getting better and better every year. But it's just weird to say that people are going to come back from an Achilles in under a year.
Modern medicine, John.
I know.
Modern medicine.
I know, but I don't want to. I feel like it's hard to keep that expectation that, okay, yeah, well, that's not a 1 year injury anymore. We'll get that taken care of. I don't know.
You're in next week. Let's go. All right, the Bengals are up. You got them. Obviously, they've been hitting free agency heavy with the offensive tackles. Do they take an offensive tackle here?
No, I don't think they take a tackle here. I think they might look at some of their interior line. They were lucky enough to get Lyle Collins, trader, as some other people might call him. Let's see, interior D-line, Tyler Smith. What are you looking at? Corners, Kyler Gordon, Woolen, McCree. Yeah, no, I'm definitely feeling that they're going to be going probably interior O-line. I don't think there's no. Call me crazy. I'm not going to pick this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went tight end at some point in this draft in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I could definitely see him going in the first 2 rounds. There's some really solid tight ends.
There's some good prospects this year. So I think I'm going to have them taking Tyler Smith, next best interior lineman available, out of Tulsa.
Alrighty. So, here we go. The Lions' last pick. Who have we picked for them so far? I believe
we picked.
Yep,
you picked Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah. So
you screwed them.
No, I did not screw. I said I think they trade back. I really do. But Kyle Hamilton is still like one of the best prospects in this draft.
Yeah.
With their needs and things like that, having DJ Chark for a year, Amon-Ra on the other side, I think Jahan Dotson would be a really nice fit here. I really do. I think they grab a quarterback in the next round. But dude,
yeah, because they pick again in 3 picks.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm gonna go Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, because they next pick would be the Jags, and then it'd be the Lions again.
Damn, yeah. So, all right. I mean, I kind of like this. It's weird, doing 2 people like with the 2 of us doing it at the same time. It's like because we both don't see it the same way, which is interesting. So. Let's run it down real quick. Jacksonville Jaguars from 1 to 32. Jacksonville taking Aiden Hutchinson. Detroit taking safety Kyle Hamilton. Houston taking Evan Neal. The tackle, the Jets. Icky out of NC State, the tackle. The Giants taking Trayvon Walker, the edge rusher there. The Panthers taking Charles Cross as the offensive tackle. The Giants taking maybe the best wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. Atlanta Falcons taking Chris Olave right behind him.
It's because he's
Seattle
from Ohio State, right?
Who?
Garrett Wilson.
No. I just think he's the best. Like either way, I don't like Drake. I think Drake London's a little overrated. I think he's great go up and get the ball guy and could help a lot of teams. However, I think overall Garrett Wilson is probably the best.
Okay.
So, yeah. Kenny Pickett, first quarterback off the board, going to the Seahawks. Derek Stingley, the cornerback, going to the Jets. The Commanders taking Sauce, Ahmad Gardner. Vikings taking Jordan Davis, big guy. Texans, Kayvon Thibodeau. The Ravens, Jermaine Johnson, the edge rusher. The Eagles are taking Drake London. That'd be a nice pairing, opposite of Devonte Smith. Saints taking Jameson Williams. The Chargers, Trevor Penning, the offensive tackle. The Eagles, Andrew Booth, the cornerback. Saints, Malik Willis. Steelers, Zion Johnson. Patriots, Trent McDuffie. Green Bay Packers, Treylon Burks. Cardinals, Kair Elam, the cornerback out of Florida. The Cowboys, Daxton Hill, the safety out of Michigan. The Bills, the center, Tyler Linderbaum, baller. Titans, Devin Lloyd. Bucs, Kenyon Green. Packers, George Karlaftis. Chiefs, Christian Watson, the wide receiver. Chiefs again, David Ajabo. The Bengals, Tyler Smith. And the Lions, Jahan Dotson. Interesting.
Jahan Dotson.
Very interesting. We will definitely upload this to the actual, channel itself outside of the live stream. But I would like for both John and I to do a on our own, a one round mock draft this week sometime. That'd be cool. So we can launch those. Just so you kind of see what we both are thinking. So.
Oh, I might do that. Throw something together.
Yeah. So. All right, John. Let's get out of here.
All right, man. Thank you guys for tuning in for this episode. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed to both the channel and the podcast, whatever podcast format you guys are watching on. Make sure you guys follow, subscribe, like the videos, join the Discord if you haven't already, and make sure to tune in to anytime you guys want to see our beautiful faces. Make sure you don't miss anything by hitting that little bell icon on your YouTube videos. You get a little notification every time you want to come hear us talk for a little bit. Make sure you guys stay tuned because we're going to be breaking down the rest of the rest of the positions for the draft. Trying to get all of those done for you guys before the actual NFL draft here at the end of April. And then we're going to continue with these mock drafts, getting at least one of those out a week. So stay tuned. Maybe have some special guests on for you guys. Do something fun for you each week.
Definitely. All right, guys. We will see you later.